welcome to the Veterans Ascend weekly podcast. Today, we are honored to speak with Dr. Vivian Greentree, a passionate Navy veteran and military spouse with nearly 2 decades of leadership experience across public, nonprofit, and private sectors. Vivian is an advisor for philanthropic and community engagement as individuals and for organizations. She is a champion of community and employee engagement dedicated to creating positive spaces for people to thrive and firmly believes organizations are powered by the people and human capital management. Vivian currently serves as the Senior Vice President, Head of Corporate Citizenship with FISERV. You may know Vivian from First Data, which recently merged with FISERV, and Vivian moved over in the same role. Vivian, thank you for your time today. Please tell us about First Data FISERV, your role, and the connection with veterans.
Hi, Robyn, and thank you so much for having me this morning. So my connection with the military is I am a proud Navy veteran, Supply Corps officer, and little known fact that the Supply Corps school used to be located in Athens, Georgia, where I also went to college at the University of Georgia. So I found out about how great the Navy life could be very early. I am also married to a currently serving Navy sailor who is going to retire next year. So we're really excited about that and have enjoyed, living the Navy lifestyle for the last 19 years, although we're excited to become a veteran family as we've recently moved and relocated to Atlanta. I am, as you mentioned, the Senior Vice President and Head of Corporate Citizenship at First Data Corporation, now FISERV, where I do oversee the implementation of our associate and community engagement, strategic philanthropy, and diversity and inclusion. And I came to First Data in 2014 to help create our First Data Salutes program, which is now evolving into FISERV Salutes. So it's a really great time to be within this merger in Atlanta, where the fintech environment is so exciting and transformative right now, and then also to be a part of this leading global provider of financial services technology solutions at a time when so much is changing and there's so much opportunity to be a leader and use, and from my perspective, to leverage the space and place of FISERV to engage with the military community, not just through employment, but through entrepreneurship.
That's awesome. Well, I'm partial to the Navy, so that's awesome. Go Navy. And you're right about the financial world and veterans and helping them navigate that as they're transitioning, whether they're going to school or getting a job or being entrepreneurs. So that's wonderful. So tell us more about First Data Salutes, FISERV Salutes, which is transitioning, and the impact to the company and the military families.
Yeah, so it's, when we started First Data Salutes, now FISERV Salutes, it was really looking to say, we've been around talking about the employment and the unemployment rate for veterans at that time, and how companies were coming together to create opportunities. We really hadn't, as the private sector started talking about retention at that point. So it's past, getting that first job out of the service. Now we know research shows that sometimes there can be a little bit of a struggle or a challenge for that post-service job in the civilian labor market. And so, and also looking at the time at what First Data did was helping companies start and grow their businesses. So entrepreneurship seemed like a seamless way to integrate what our mission was, what we were good at doing, and then leveraging that to open the aperture for veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs. So our pillars around now FISERV Salutes is employment, experience, and entrepreneurship. And what that means is, overall for employment, we're looking at, we have a dedicated talent acquisition team around sourcing and recruiting and really looking at the pools of talent that we're, fishing in for that human capital talent that, that you mentioned earlier. We have an enhanced guard and reserve policy that is I would say the most robust within the private sector, would be happy to be proved wrong if another company has a more robust or enhanced policy around supporting Guard and reservists. On the experience pillar, we have our Military Leadership Council, which we have at 13 sites across the country. And it, through this integration, we've had even more sites and more chapter leaders pop up from the original FISERV team, from chapters and kind of a military leadership group that they already had. So it's really interesting that even in the integration and, as we're looking forward, it's some of our military groups that have stood up and said, because I think they realize the value of connectivity, and that, and how to support each other across business lines and geographic, separations, because that's what they did, in the military. So I've been really excited to see that same kind of crossover in the private sector. And then on the entrepreneurship side, we are really aiming to be not just the employer of choice for veterans and military spouses, but also the services provider of choice for veteran and military spouse-owned businesses. We are a co-creator of the Coalition for Veteran-Owned Business with the Institute for Veterans and Military Families up at Syracuse University, and that's a coalition of like-minded Fortune 500 companies who have a dedication and a commitment to hire and employ veterans, but also has said, like our supply chain, let's look at supplier diversity. Let's look at what our products and services are, and are we reaching out to veteran businesses and military spouse-owned businesses to help them start and scale and grow and get into our supply chains and procurement opportunities? Are we, if some of our banking partners, they have CDFIs, and if those have a veteran program, or if, FISERV has a special business offer for veteran and military spouse-owned businesses where we have free and reduced hardware and free processing on Veterans Day and Independence Day. So, and there's companies across the country that have opportunities like that, and it's really harnessing that, leveraging that, and then targeting it very specifically based on where that veteran or military spouse might be in their entrepreneurship journey. Because like you said, as they're transitioning out, they may want to go work at a Fortune 500. They may want to go work at a Main Street store, in the community that they came from or, lived in. And the awesome part about it is we can affect that and have impact in that and through their transition in all of those ways. It doesn't have to just be through a job or through, starting a business. It can be in partnership with one of our partners, because we have over 6 million merchant sites across the globe and over 4,000 financial institutions. And what my job is to really make sure that we're leveraging that to open the aperture for veterans and military spouses.
Wow. It's incredible. I'm sitting here like going, oh my gosh, this is just such great stuff. And I'm just super excited that we're going to be able to share this with our veteran community and all of our connections, because those are such great programs. And just thank you for what you've done to drive this within First Data and now FISERV, because I'm sure you were a catalyst for a lot of this activity. So it's just wonderful. And one of the things that we do at Veterans Ascend is try to help veterans feel confident about their skills and understand where their direction is going. But these programs that you've put together and First Data and FISERV have put together are just, the impact to the community is just going to be thousandfold as it continues to roll out. So thank you so much. It's just super exciting. And as much as I love what I do, I'd love to come work for First Data and FISERV. It's wonderful. Awesome. Right? So with all of that, and there's so much there, kind of give us your best piece of advice for a transitioning service member or veteran.
Well, one, I have to, thank you so much for that, your comments too, because I think there's so much to be done, and no matter where any of us are, we can use our space and place to open the aperture and expand opportunities for others. And I had that opportunity when I was hired on to First Data by my boss, and he, has been one of our largest executive champions. And I know, and Frank Bisignano, who's our CEO, have really given us the leverage. And I know now FISERV CEO, Jeff Yabuki, is very passionate about diversity and inclusion, and the military programming that we have really drives that, because it's not any one program, for veterans, or any one policy, for veterans, or any other diverse population. It's a mindset about, knowing that we're diverse, and that the more diversity that we have, the more we're able to leverage it as a competitive edge. And that if we, make people choose between, if it's on the military side, serving their country, or, working at FISERV, we're going to lose. And if it's the same down the line, if we make people feel like they can't bring their whole selves to work, they're going to find somewhere else to work, because the mental kind of load that they'll carry will be less somewhere else. And so that's really, it's just, it's a competitive edge. It's about human capital and finding opportunities for meaningful engagement. And our veteran programs have really driven that. So I know that was a long story, short story long. But so that kind of ties in, though, to the advice, that you asked for the transitioning service member. Is the thing is, I want them to know that, and this is true. Like I said, my husband's retiring next year, and I see the things that he says about his transition are things, that I see in the larger population as we were reaching out and engaging transitioning service members, and largely at whatever point in time, whether it's 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 19 years, they're so capable. They're so, they're plug and play. They are team players. They're leaders. They can take mitigated risks. They can, they're mission oriented, that you cannot imbue someone with being mission oriented. They have so many wonderful qualities, soft skills, hard skills, technical skills. I just want them to know that, because when they do that transition, the one thing that they don't have, and this is the part I would recommend, and my advice, is focusing on their network, because their network is their net worth. And they, whether it's for entrepreneurship, education, or employment, and a strong network is very important. And that's something that on the military side, even, my husband, who I hope listens to this, by the way, he, networking can be seen as a negative, or it's a kind of a dirty word to service members. And so but it's not. And they look at it as, my detailer did that for me, or, I don't want to look like I'm going around the process. And so they don't really focus on, building up those networks. And it's those networks are what is going to get them hired or employed or into the school, or, stay connected. Because employment is more than a job. It's financial security, it's social connection. It's in a lot of ways, it's a validation. You receive your self-worth from it. And we need to create these cultures on the private sector side and the public sector and the nonprofit side, in organizations where people can recognize those benefits. What we need the transitioning service members and military spouses to do is, one, recognize their worth and be proud of the service, and mention it as a distinguishing competitive factor against other, candidates, but to recognize that they also need this network, and reaching out on LinkedIn and going to networking events, and, sitting in on listening sessions. That's important. And it's something that they should do, and that they will be welcomed at. And because people on the other side are just waiting to pull them through and open the door. And it's funny. We have been tracking our military recruitment programming since 2014, and over kind of the life of the program, we know that the applicant to interview rate is about, it's lower than we'd like it to be, but it is akin to non-military affiliated. But our military affiliated interview to hire rate is over 50%, which means that if we can get them through that large kind of chasm of any digital application process provides through our dedicated talent acquisition team, and get them in front of the hiring managers and get them in front of the interviewers, they are more likely than not to get hired. And that's all them, right? So all we did was open the door expand where we're fishing for talent and bringing the superior talent that gets themselves hired.
That's incredible. I love I'm just thinking through all the synergies between what we're doing at Veterans Ascend and what you just described, but a couple of things that stand out. I've never heard anybody say your network is your net worth. And I love that, because it really is true that the people that you connect with and the people that support you and that you're supporting as well will provide that success in getting you to where you need to be. We've got a veteran that reached out to us this morning, and he's struggling in San Antonio. So I went out to LinkedIn and found all my contacts in San Antonio, and I'm connecting him to them. So it truly is, I love that. It's your net worth, and love that. I also love that you said, be proud of being in the military. I can't, it hurts me sometimes to see resumes or LinkedIn profiles that don't have their military experience or even mention that they're a veteran, and it breaks my heart. So definitely be proud. And what we're doing from a skills profile is doing just that, helping them say, here's the skills that you have from your training in the military. It doesn't pigeonhole you into one occupation. It takes those skills and allows you to traverse all the opportunities in every occupation out there. So spreading out your opportunities because of your skills, but be proud of those. And we're opening those doors as well, because we want employers to match on the skills and understand what a veteran brings to the table, not the struggles that an employer goes through with understanding a military title or resume or that kind of thing. So it's just awesome. That is super advice. And yes, hopefully everybody, including your husband, will listen and heed the advice. So focusing in on FISERV, if a veteran is interested in working for FISERV, what would you recommend to do to put their best foot forward?
So, we try to make it very easy to find us and work with us. We are going through a transformation, so it's a great opportunity for us to join forces with what we've done in the past, and then really, take the best and create something better going forward. We are at events across the country on installations. We do our own hiring and networking events through our Military Leadership Council. We're a great partner with Student Veterans of America and go to their national conference each year. If they, want to, I would say, if they were looking to work at FISERV, do a little research, and this is, this is more broadly too. Do a little research on the positions that we have available. So going to our careers site, we have a specified page for military affiliated for veterans and military spouses. And we do hope that, like you said, sometimes service members, Guard and reservists, military spouses don't feel confident including those roles in their resumes. I would say for FISERV, please do. We recognize your service, we value your service, we speak your service, and we want to see what you have and bring it to this team. So going to our careers page, looking around a little bit, seeing where we have positions, where we have locations, what you feel your skills and ability align to, and really keep an open kind of position about that, because we really hire for attribute and train for skill, especially in some of the more entry-level or mid-level positions, because, just like you mentioned, that mission-orientedness is so much more important in a lot of ways. That we can teach you how to use different programs. We can teach you how to do, things the FISERV way. What is harder to imbue is, that ability to think critically past the immediate, to be proactive, to have, drive towards a mission that you can't see the end to yet, but that you're part of, which, the service members and military spouses, they have been doing that for a very long time. If they come over to the private sector, it's a lot easier because no one's deploying. So, I would say look around, see what we have, see how that aligns to what you're looking for, and then reach out to our military team, either through our careers portal or through military@FISERV.com is a direct email address that we have, and encourage transitioning service members who might not be exactly sure what they're doing yet. One of the things that our military team does is look at and provide feedback on resumes, and we also have a network of partners on the employment side who we regularly communicate with and try to create best practices from. So if they're not a right fit for FISERV for some reason, like you said, we get on LinkedIn and then say, hey, but I know 3 other people in San Antonio that are hiring that might be a good fit. Because at the end of the day, veterans want to hire veterans want to hire military spouses, and we'll all be better with a better experience of transitioning out of the service, because at the end of the day, we need a sustainable all-volunteer force, or a strong national defense, and it's everybody's, regardless of what role you're in, to play a part in that. I'm feel very lucky that my role in that is to help employ and help military connected entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses. And I know you feel the same about your job, and so it's just, I'm glad where we are in the ecosystem, because I've had people open doors for me and take a chance on me, and I feel very strongly that the only reason that I'm here is to help do that for others.
That's awesome. And yeah, you mentioned the all voluntary force, and one of the things that there's statistics out there that say about 43% of military spouses state employment is a major factor in their determining whether they stay in the service or not.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So it is critical when you think about it, and the impact that could have on our national security. So it's just great. Again, a lot you've mentioned even more that FISERV is doing. I love the connection for the military at FISERV.com. That's great. Helping the veterans in any way they can. So Vivian, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for continuing to serve our veteran community. We appreciate you sharing these great insights today. Thank you to FISERV for being military ready and for all that they do for our military community. Listeners, for more information on FISERV, please visit their website at www.fiserv.com. And for veterans career information specifically, you can go to FISERV.com, navigate to the careers page, and find the specific veterans section for all the information and great things that Vivian has mentioned. And listeners, for more information on Veterans Ascend or to sign up today, please visit our website at www.veteransascend.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.